It's Eric Nagel. Eric Nagel.
Segment 2 of the show. Eric and Jordan here with you talking about television, movies, streaming updates, and all the news that's fit to print. We start this segment off talking about things we've been watching, listening to, playing, all of that fun stuff. Jordan, what have you been doing?
I'm going to start off yesterday, July 2nd. Old Guard 2 came out, Charlize Theron movie about a bunch of immortals battling the forces of evil and finding out their place in the world. I liked the first one. It's a very interesting concept. I guess it's based off of a graphic novel, like most anything is anymore these days. The second one feels very blah, like very bland. Like they have all these big ideas. They even end this particular one on a cliffhanger to continue the story. I just feel like it was just they should have had more to it. The bad guy is kind of lackluster. It was Uma Thurman's in this movie.
She's the bad guy?
She's the bad guy. She plays Discord, not the popular site, but the character Discord. She's the first immortal, and she's upset at the other immortals, and it's just the whole thing. Like, some of the action sequences are pretty good, but I just feel like they did nothing with the story. I feel like the rest of the story is in supposedly the next movie if they make it. So we'll see about that. I like the characters, but this one was kind of boring. So I'm listening.
Glowing recommendation.
I know it's so hard, and I think I'll go into it more later, and I'll do something with that. But
Jared, I was thinking the same exact thing.
I know,
Netflix will cancel it since it's a cliffhanger. They did that with Chaos, and I loved Chaos.
1899, like they all end with like this big thing, like oh my god, and then it's like you'll never see anything. This is kind of like that, where at the end, Charlize Theron and another character are like, okay, I'll race you up the stairs. We're going to go save the day. And then credits start rolling. And I audibly said, are you fucking kidding me? And this was like at 1 a.m. last night. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Because you're right.
It's the kind of frustration. You sit up out of bed and you're like, you want to huck the remote at the television.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe that that's how they ended it. And I'm just like, okay, I hope we get another one. But if we don't, or whatever, I don't care.
So you're saying don't check it out.
If you've liked watch the first one. If you like the first one, watch the second. It expands a little bit of some of the characters. There's some redemption stuff. There's other things that tie into it. As a standalone movie, it's not very good.
What about a standalone fruit?
Piece, no.
Okay.
But I'm listening to a band called Deadlands. It's kind of like one of those heavy female-led bands. Their album called 7. I saw them originally on TikTok, which is a weird way to start discovering music, but I'm seeing a lot of these bands showcasing their music. Like we saw Black 182 a couple months back. I found them there. So this is another one of those. It's a female-led, like heavy band where it's one of those things. She can sing, but she also does that very heavy guttural kind of like singing. Pretty good. And then Muse, the band Muse, just put out a new single called Unraveling, and I love Muse. So I've been listening to that just kind of on repeat.
I've been hearing, I don't remember what the advertisement was for, but I heard, it was either on the radio or podcast, Muse's music was being used for a commercial.
Muse's music kind of used for a lot of things.
Yeah, so they're all about the sellout, cash in as much as we can.
Why not?
Good for them. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing it. But,
right, exactly.
You do notice a lot more nowadays with a lot of popular music. That's not a car company or the off... what was that CD that was like the off-brand version of popular hits? Now that's what I call music.
That's what I call music.
Yeah, but that's what Target does, like during their summer and their Christmas campaigns, where you hear popular songs, but they're just off.
Slightly different.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I watched, and this is why I saved this for last, I did watch the last 3 episodes of the 6-episode run of IronHeart. I know you and I kind of watched at the same time. I watched the first 2 before you started.
Yeah.
It's a rough show.
It sucks. It sucks so bad.
And this is what's hard to like. I know I talk shit about Old Guard, but I would say go ahead and watch it if you watch the other ones. I can't honestly say you should watch the first 5 episodes of this series.
Not at all.
Just
don't watch any of it. Don't watch any of it. It's all terrible.
Watch the sixth one. Watch the sixth one because you get something that pays off. Kind of. It's interesting. I hope it's used better somewhere else. But as far as this show goes, you have this arc of this character where you're like, hey, you know, she's making bad decisions. She's trying to do better. And then at the end, she makes the worst fucking decision you can make. And I'm sitting there going, there was no, it feels like, remember, what was the show? He goes by Paramount, Luke Cage. Remember, I think season 2 of Luke Cage, where he ends up taking over for like Cottonmouth, or he becomes the bad guy. That's what this is. Yeah. She ends up doing something so incredibly stupid at the end that why is she even here? Like, you were a terrible character. None of what you did was that all the surrounding characters are way more interesting and way more cool. This became Daddy Issues, the show. And then honestly, the reveal in the 6th episode was cool. We already knew it was coming. Right. I liked it. I like him. But overall, I don't care anything about what happened 5 episodes prior. I just don't. No. It really bugs me. The look, they didn't even do a grandiose promotion leading up to this because they put it out in the shadow or hidden behind the ramping up of the promotion for Fantastic Four, which is still 3 weeks away, maybe. Yeah, give her 3 weeks. So that's ramping up. You're going to start seeing within the next week or two all of the cast showing up on today's show, Kelly Clarkson, the nighttime shows, all of those kind of things. And they did nothing with her when they were showing the press montage leading up to this. She was on The View, and then it was a clip of her at some like radio station nobody knew. And like, ooh, that is a big drop off. I saw more promotional stuff with Anthony Ramos, the guy who plays the Hood. Yeah. I saw a lot more of that from him than I did see with her. And honestly, like I didn't see any of them at anything. I just saw clips online after the fact that the show came out, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's a thing." I feel like they just kind of had to put this show. They had, I guess they finished the show. They have to put it out. But I think the reveal in episode 6 plays something bigger into the later movies, so they had to get this out there. Like they just had to shoehorn it in before Fantastic Four because everything right now leads up to Secret Wars and Doomsday and all that stuff. So it was so hard for me to care about her as a character. And then they did things with her and that as a character, like she can't fight. She's not physically, intimidating. She has no skills other than she can build stuff. And somehow you're making me believe that she took on 2 of the muscle of the group and beat their asses and then somehow got out of it. And then did the whole trope of running down the middle of a road when getting chased, like fucking veer off. I saw some stuff online about the White Castle scene, right? Because it was obviously White Castle funded a good amount of that episode. It was in Chicago, right? So it's a big staple in that area. The fighting of Riri Williams and these other characters, all like the ridiculous fights they were having in the White Castle, kept getting clipped together with people fighting at a Waffle House, people fighting at a Burger King, and going back and forth between the different clips into really IronHeart. And people were calling it racist. They're like, this is racist. And it's like, you're even doing this. It's like, I'm not putting the clips together, but I was sitting there looking at the comments and they're like, this is racist and there's blatant racism. I go, but what are the other clips then? You know, right? It's like, I get it. Putting them together obviously was... Sure, there's the connotation. Yeah. But you can't... But saying that you put those clips with this to here is racism. It's like... You made the show. Yeah. But whatever. This was a conscious choice to make this fight scene inside a White Castle. Ezekiel Stain was wasted. His turn to who he ended up being in the later episodes felt very forced and quick. Yeah. Like I had to look and became a patsy real fast. He's like, oh, it can't be our fault. She left technology there. How did they trace it back to him? If he had stolen technology, how do they know it was his? I know.
Did it have his name on it? Did it have an ID? Something like they don't tell you how you
ES into it. Oh, this must be Ezekiel's.
It's like they checked his Instagram. He's posing with every piece of biological tech that he grabs.
Well, and it's like the villain fight, like her going after, like they made such a huge ordeal of saying, okay, we're going to put this into your suit to make you on equal playing field as this. And I'm trying to be as broad as possible. But like, and then when the big moment happened, all it did was like, oh, now he's visible instead of invisible. And that was it. Like there was no real fight scene. And then it was like 20 minutes of monologue and then the episode was over. And I'm sitting there going,
right.
I mean, I like the reveal, but fuck, this character is so boring.
Well, there was that. There, like his turn was too fast and completely wasted. The debut of Mephisto. You had 3 other amazing and also acceptable properties you could have debuted him in. Mm-hmm. And this garbage is where you debuted one of the most anticipated and one of the biggest villains in that beloved villains too in the Marvel universe.
Been around since the 60s.
And you want to debut him here. You could have had him in WandaVision. I don't think he should have been in WandaVision, but you could have. It would have made some sense. Mm-hmm. You could have definitely had him in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Mayhem. That would have made sense for him to show up in some way, shape, or form after Wanda went fucking crazy with the dark art stuff.
It could have been the reason why she went crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's pulling the strings in a lot of shit.
And then the other property, which would have been perfectly acceptable, was Agatha All Along.
Correct.
That you could have brought him into. Mm-hmm. This was complete garbage. But they
very shoehorned in.
They made what drove me nuts. All right, so now they made her the villain. She's now a big bad. She's not a hero. She's not anything. When her family, her friends, the school, she was kicked out of Wakanda. So every time they kept asking about why don't you have Wakanda or call Sherry or whatever, mm-hmm. she kept saying, "Oh, my internship ended," which is an excuse that people get when they were kicked out, fired,
She's
whatever.
Arrogant.
They left in disgrace, what have you. The school, when she said, "But the problem is you just want me to be small. You don't want me to succeed and whatever." And they're looking at it, and the dean and whoever her counselor or whatever it was, were like, "You are full of shit. We've been covering for you all of this time." And it's like, "You are expelled." I mean, like they were not pulling up with her bullshit. Her mom knew she was kicked out, never even told her. But then the mom revealed that she knew all this stuff here. Her friend, whatever that guy is, the boring, nerdy looking guy, I can't remember his name. She's like, "Am I a good person?" And he hesitates to even say anything. He's like, "Well, it's all based on who's labeling you." And you're like, that's not a good answer. So even her friends, her family all know that she's a terrible, selfish, egotistical person.
And she gets called out on it multiple
all
times
the time.
The first 5 episodes.
She constantly is having panic attacks and anxiety because that identifies with Gen Z and millennials because that's, I'm not right. I have mental health issues. Fuck off. This is not the place to have those problems, right? Mephisto even said, what she would believe, and he's like, "For no fault of your own, you're constantly turning where the world is just against you." Like he said everything she actually believes.
Sure. Right?
But then her friends, everybody else were telling it like she's terrible. Even the criminals she was working with when the Hood was describing her and all that shit. And he's like the big bad guy until Mephisto, and he's telling her she's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
They were trying to make her out as a hero.
She makes bad decisions at
the
every
little
turn.
bit of promotion they did leading up to this show, where Whoopi Goldberg was talking about how this is going to change the narrative or whatever the terms they were using for young women and diversity going forward in Marvel and stuff like. That's you didn't even watch anything. This is what you're saying. This is going to make it. There's people I've seen on TikTok. They're all calling anybody who shits on this show or says the show's good racist and sexist and whatever, and that this is cultural. And it's like you can't keep throwing things are cultural as a end all be all blanket defense
Yeah.
When she's a terrible person. She steals from everybody. She lets everyone down. She puts everyone in danger. She gets people hurt, if not killed. And you keep saying like,
she's not honest. Like she even at one point she goes, "Don't ask me questions, so I'll lie to you."
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to be open and honest. She doesn't want to have that conversation.
And they kept asking her, "Are you good?" And she goes, "No, I'm not." Like the whole time she keeps saying, "I'm not good."
Right. I don't like the narrative of if I have an issue with this show, I'm racist. And we've seen multiple videos. We know people who have said that exact same thing and are going to great lengths to be an ally for this show when it's the writing, it's the pace, it's the constant bad decisions this character makes. It's the rush job to give someone a villain turn. It's a very lackluster main villain who just has daddy issues and made a bad deal. It's a bad deal made by the character that you think has made good decisions finally and has turned a leaf and has accepted her role and then still does the thing that she saw destroy someone else. She's an idiot. She's a smart idiot. She knows how to fucking be sciencey and math-based and knows how to solve problems. But when it comes to being a normal human, she is a stupid person. She makes dumb decisions, and it's hard to justify that as like, you want me to believe that she is now going to take up the mantle of the new Iron Man. I am okay with a black woman taking over that mantle if that's what you truly want to do, if you write her correctly. One of my favorite characters in the MCU,
but even saying
was
that,
the Black Panther.
Even saying that means I've saw people saying this too. It's like, oh, they're blaming mostly liberal white guys for this.
Of course.
Saying, you're saying, they should have their own characters and their own storylines and everything, but you white guys are not going out and supporting it. Why do all their runs get canceled?
Bullshit.
So
Black Panther was one of the biggest movies out there.
Yeah, but they're talking about everything else gets, their comic book series get canceled after a short run. These things don't have, nobody goes and watches these movies. They're yelling at white liberal guys, not white conservative guys. And he goes, at least from the couple of videos I saw, at least they tell you they don't want to see it. They're like, go ahead and watch it. We have no interest in watching it. They say they don't want to watch it.
Do you know how much money I will put down if they finally make Blade and put that in the damn theater? I will go see that. I will support it. Write the character the correct way. I don't care if you gender swap. I don't care if you make them black when they were white. They've done that with many characters throughout the MCU. I'm fine with it if you do it correctly. Like in Thunderbolts, Ghost, the character is a guy in the comic books. Do you think I care? No. The character was
same thing with Taskmaster.
Yeah. I don't care if it was a woman or a man.
They flipped it to a woman and then killed her off right away. Like there was no point to it.
Well, the audience hated it. So they were like, well, let's course correct real quick. But you know what I mean? Like, I didn't care.
That wasn't even course correcting. That was just soldering an end,
They were like, let's just cut this off now.
Yeah.
So don't come at people who genuinely have criticisms of the show and call them racist. Go fuck yourself. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. So the whole show.
Yes, we watched those.
It's terrible. Sacha Baron Cohen, not who I don't know who I would have cast as Mephisto.
I think he's fine. I think he did great.
I don't have a problem with him. I think it's okay. I would like to see how the character develops. At least you got that one little glance of what Mephisto looks like in the comics.
Form. Yeah.
That tiny little reflection in the spoon.
Yeah, but that was perfect. That's what you needed to do. And what it did was you also saw how he changed his personality throughout just the small bits that he was in.
Right.
Like at one point he's talking with like a Chicago accent and he's relating to the one guy, and then he talks to him again, but has his natural English accent and he shifts it again. Like you can tell he's meant to be this amalgam of things that will get what he wants with the right people. And it's just, it was for such a small bit, it was very satisfying for me. Like I didn't mind him in this character at all.
If they didn't cast him, who would I would love to have seen as Mephisto? And he's available.
Jamie Foxx.
Tom Ellis.
Oh, I love Tom Ellis.
If you don't know who Tom Ellis is, he was Lucifer in the DC show that was on Fox for a couple seasons, and the rest of the seasons were all on Netflix. Great show. You should go watch it. Especially after they gave up on it being fucking Law and Order Lucifer, where it was police procedurals and just went into all the celestial stuff. Lucifer was also a character. It's based on the character Lucifer in Sandman. which season 2 is coming up, and we'll read that in just a moment. Overall, Ironheart was terrible. It moved nothing. The cutscene at the end of the credits of the last episode is leading to a project that's not happening. It was supposed. I mean, once you told me that, and I went back and looked, and I was like, "Oh, this makes a lot of sense. This isn't happening." You had all this time. Why didn't you go and shoot a new cutscene?
Or just don't even put it in there.
Or film it.
If you know it's not going to lead to anything, just cut it out. It didn't matter.
Yeah. So they were teasing Strange Academy, which was would be Wong from Doctor Strange running this, like his version of Hogwarts, if you would.
Yeah, it's like the School of Magic at Carmitage.
They scrapped that. They're not doing it. So you could have had everything about this thing was wrong. And I don't know why they didn't scrap the show altogether either. But maybe they needed to. Maybe what I've come to not even realize, but just like the only thing I could think of that made any sense is that Mephisto's in other shit coming up.
That's my thought.
And like we have to put this out because we have to introduce him. Just like Ms. Marvel, they put that out because she was going to be part of the next movie. But they also, that was the first official nod to the X-Men was in that show. So they put that out here. And the show wasn't terrible, Ms. Marvel, but they scrapped the second season. So that's not happening. But yeah, so everything about Ironheart is terrible, was wrong. People were saying, this is going to be her the next hero, the new Iron Man. She was meant to be a villain. She's not meant to be a good person. And everybody was promoting it one way, didn't watch any of the show until it came out, because who could watch it, and then had to realize, you're championing somebody that is a complete piece of shit. But relying on she's a black, strong female lead in a show that we still have to support this. It's like, all right, you're defending a shitty person. That's a lot. That whole show was a lot of stereotypes too. Even though they said it was diversity, you're sitting there watching and go, this is all stereotype shit. And that was supposed to be positive and uplifting and super. It was everything about it was wrong.
Well, and it's even at the one point where Parker Robbins, the guy who plays the Hood, he's sitting there and he goes against his own crew and then says you're fired and then just lets him walk out. Yeah. Like, this is your big bad, and he just lets people leave.
You only have 6 episodes. You got to hang on to everything that's going on.
Yeah, like focus on a story, and it just, I don't know, something about it.
Well, fuck it. Ironheart is
Iron Man 4.
An illustrious 2-week run, 6 episodes is over and done with. Or as
they could have stretched it out for 6, like at least enough weeks to get you to Fantastic Four, and they were like, we're fine with a 3-week gap. We don't need to worry about this.
Nope, not at all. I was watching that, and then I watched. I finished Squid Game season 3.
How do you like it? I have been seeing a lot of people saying this should have just been like the second half of season 2, or just they feel like this
technically is.
Yeah,
they shot it all together and then split it up to give you 3 seasons. The ending's a little weak. I thought the thing with the island, I don't want to give away anything because if people are going to watch it. Remember how you thought once they found the island and lost, all this shit was going to happen?
Yeah.
That's the same feeling I got watching this season here when they found the island and you think all this shit's going to happen.
Oh, no.
Shit happens, just not the way you think it's going to happen.
All right.
I didn't hate it. It was okay. They tied up a lot of loose ends, but left it open. In some ways. So that's all I'll say about it for now. I do definitely think it's worth watching. There are some horrific deaths.
Oh, I like that.
Like really messed up stuff that they're doing in here. And go give it a watch. And then
So do you know David Fincher, the director?
Okay.
They're making an American version of Squid Games. So they're co-opting that, and they're going to do another version.
I don't know how good that's going to be.
I hate when people Americanize things. Like Old Boy is one of my favorite Korean movies. Like the twist is what it is. Whatever.
Well, they do it all the time. That Masked Singer show, was from Korea.
Korea one.
And then like every country has their own version. Everyone thought American Idol. No, that was Pop Idol in England that came over here was America. X Factor was an English show. The one thing I'm glad we haven't been we haven't done, and we've talked about this, was what was it, Eurovision?
Yeah.
We haven't done that here in the United States, and thank God, because that thing is terrible.
Let's see. Jared the Geek does ask a good question. Did you finish Andor yet? Go watch Andor. Okay, we're done, guys. Good night.
Yeah, I will do that. I'm in the middle of episode 11. I have to.
So you're almost done.
I have that. I have an episode and then episode 12 to do. I need to watch that. You're right.
Jared, you bring up another show that they did a English to American version called Being Human. I didn't hate the American version, but the British version was superior.
There was a show Giddles loved. It was a British show. It made me watch it. And it was super violent.
The Runaways. No, it wasn't that one.
There was a scene.
I know what you're talking about because they did a remake on.
They did an American
Prime.
version and only got one season, and it flopped badly.
It was not good.
But it was like there was a scene in the British one where the kid walks into school and just starts shooting up everybody in the school.
Wasn't there like a really good scene in the record store too?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the damn show now.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna bother me.
But Giddles loved that show. He loved it so much he found the album. It was a soundtrack at a record store and or a thrift store or something, and bought the vinyl soundtrack for that show. Yeah, some things get converted over to being American, and some are okay, others are terrible. Like The Office was fine. It was actually totally different than the British Office, but in many ways have surpassed the British Office as far as syndication, money, what have you.
Right.
All right. Anyway, that's what we've been watching and doing, whatever. Coming out this week for your enjoyment for the holiday weekend, Jurassic World Rebirth, not getting good reviews.
No.
Or word of mouth. Either one.
I've seen is that people are saying that it is boring. It's a rehash, but not in a good way, and that it's made for idiots. And I'm like, well, cool.
All right. Well, you idiots go out to the movie.
$1 billion.
Yeah, go out to the movie theaters this weekend. You can go watch that. Over on HBO Max, The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Yeah, it's that Looney Tunes movie that they never promoted that made a bunch of money in the theater after they sold it off, and now Max is like, oh, we're going to stream it.
Yeah, they got rid of all the other Looney Tunes stuff off of there, but that'll be up. So I'm going to go watch that before that's probably gone in 2 weeks.
Right, me too.
And then Sinners, which I know I've heard a lot of people talk about.
It's good. It's really good.
Over on Disney Plus, we told you The Abomination. That's all that's there right now. There's nothing else of note.
The Abomination is not in the show, though, so don't expect that.
I know. That would imagine he just showed up and just beat up. It's like
he's like, I was contractually, I have to be here.
We didn't know how to end this show, so the Abomination showed up and just pulverized everybody. I'm with it.
I'm in.
Over on Netflix, season 2, part 1.
I know.
6 episodes of Sandman.
And they're about an hour each. So we got 6 hours of Sandman to watch before
correction.
The second half.
I've got about 12 hours because I'm going to go back and rewatch season 1.
Well, yeah, of course.
And then go enjoy season 2, part 1. Because the second part comes out, I have it on my list here,
I think it's
July
the end of
24th.
July. Yeah.
So you have season 2, part 2 comes out on July 24th. Last week we had talked about South Park coming out on July 9th. That got moved. Because of there
was a lawsuit with Paramount and Trump.
I couldn't think of Paramount for. No, it wasn't even that. It was the merger between Skydance and Paramount. But then the lawsuit with Trump about the CBS 60 Minutes thing delayed the merger, and they had to go through all of this stuff because they couldn't complete the merger because the administration has to approve the merger.
Right.
So.
It feels very shady that you are in a lawsuit with the person that's going to allow your I don't know.
It is. It's two different things, but it was Trump's organization suing, not Trump directly.
Okay, still.
No, legalities were very prominent on that because he wasn't in the lawsuit. Paramount lost the lawsuit, or they were willing to settle. Gave him $16 million. And so that could be done with in order to appease that. That money's going towards the fund for his library after he's done with his second term. But they had to do that in order to hopefully smooth things over so that the federal government will approve the merger with Skydance. And because of the ongoing shit with Skydance, pushed the South Park season debut back 2 weeks. And it pissed Matt and Trey off so much that they were posting online and telling everybody that was willing to talk to them about how much Paramount sucks and how terrible. Because they've been fighting with Paramount with the HBO Max deal.
Right.
For South Park seasons over there, which I think just ended this year. And Paramount had the deal for the one-off specials and movies. So
this is their quote. "This merger is a shit show and it's fucking up South Park. We are at the studio working on new episodes and we hope the fans will get to see them somehow." And I'm just like, oh.
And South Park operates where the episodes are done the morning of they're supposed to air. Now they had episodes ready to go and they have to have for their first time in a long time, have to have all the episodes ready to go without having that barrier. So I'm sure that pissed them off too. So South Park got pushed back to July 23rd instead of July 9th. Also I'll go back to Netflix there. Somebody Feed Phil season 8 over on Amazon Prime. Heads of State. I'm looking forward to. It looks like a dumb fun movie.
Oh, it really does.
With John Cena and Idris Elba. So we'll go and watch that. And over on the On Demand, Thunderbolts is available. We don't have a date of when that's going to Disney Plus yet, right?
No, but it is coming out physical release at the end of the month. It's actually releasing on my birthday. So I have that pre-ordered. So which means streaming should happen either around the same time or probably like within the first 2 weeks of August.
Gotcha.
So that should show up around that time.
The Ballerina, which I will now go and watch, is the spinoff of
I started
John
watching
Wick.
it today. I'm going to watch it later tonight.
And then Bring Her Back.
It's that horror movie.
Yeah. Bunch of horrors.
Bunch of horror movies.
Next week on Peacock, Drop. What is that?
That's a movie about a woman who goes on a date with a guy and she's in the restaurant and then all of a sudden someone airdrops something to her basically saying like, we've got your family held hostage or, we're going to kill somebody that you love, but you the only way we won't do it is after you have to, by the end of the night or be at the end of the date, you have to kill your date.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, fuck, this looks stupid.
It's
already streaming. It's been like 2 weeks ago it came out.
I want to ask you about this because also July 11th, Jaws 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Why is it on Disney Plus if Universal owns it?
I don't know. I think it's a documentary, which means if it's on Disney Plus, it's probably put out by Nat Geo. So that's probably why they were able to do it, because if it's a documentary, it may not be a Universal thing.
Gotcha.
It could be that. So yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff. The 50th anniversary was last week. They're re-releasing Jaws, the original Jaws, in 3D. Not Jaws 3D, but the first one in 3D in theaters the August. At the end of August, they're doing like big releases and stuff like that. A lot of merch coming out for it. I just bought the soundtrack. I just got a couple more Funkos of Quentin Hooper.
Of course
I did. No, they're great.
This also ties in great too because the week of July 20th is the 37th annual Shark Week.
I know.
On Discovery.
I know. I love Shark Week.
A lot of shark stuff happening. And all right, so that's it. Moving on to the news with the box office stuff. The Disney Pixar Elio movie flopped. $21 million opening weekend. It needed $300 million to break even.
I don't know what's up with Pixar.
And it's not on course to even getting close to that. Now, here's what else is weird. This story came out that a lot of Pixar animators were talking about how the Disney execs, no, not Disney execs, the Pixar exec, the guy who runs Pixar, can't think of his name at the moment, made them change.
Was it Pete Docter? I think Pete Docter may have taken over.
Made them change the character from being gay to masculine, straight superhero kind of thing. And they were saying, well, that's the reason why if it wasn't doing well, because it took away from the character and the story and everything. I'm like, no, that's usually the other way around when that happens and those stories flop.
I was going to say,
this is the first time I've seen the reverse and when they're saying that's why it flopped.
I'm very pro everybody gets to just live their own lives. I think the wider audiences really don't like when you do that, and kind of it feels like they're shoving that kind of stuff down your throat.
Right.
And I think that would have been a higher controversy than no one just knowing it existed, because that's the problem with this movie. I didn't know it was coming out until we started talking about it, and then it showed up, and then no one's talking about it. I mean, you still have people in your life that said, I went and saw it. It's boring. Like there's just nothing interesting about this movie.
Nothing.
And it just really sucks that Pixar, the only way it makes money is like last year we saw Inside Out 2, I think it was last year, made like $1 billion. But that was a sequel to an already established movie franchise. You know, you're going to get a bunch of money when you do like another Toy Story. You're going to get a bunch of money if you do a sequel to like Monsters, Inc. These original stories that they feel like they need to tell don't last. Like they don't make any money. Like some of them during COVID they were put out on Disney Plus when it came out, like Soul, and there was another one, Seeing Red and things like that. And like they're not popular because people are stupid. They cry for originality, but when you give it to them, no one goes. And you're never going to get out of that cycle right now. You just got to give them the comfort food.
Well, that movie is not on track to getting $300 million to get their budget back. Megan 2.0, or depending on how you hear it, Megan, made $18 million worldwide. Its budget was $25 million. It's twice the budget of the first movie. So it's on track to making money. But after the first weekend, poor reviews and poor word of mouth. Everyone's saying this sequel did not need to exist. And they're turning her into a superhero, it looked like.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, what's his name? Jason Blum of Blumhouse, the guys who put this out. He did something that most executives won't do. He came out and he said, we all thought Megan was like Superman. Let's see. We could do anything to her. We could change genres. We could put her in the summer. We can make her look different. We can turn her from a bad guy into a good guy. And we classically overthought how powerful people's engagement really was with her.
Right.
We thought she could just live in the summer. We thought we're going to, have a little, tent pole of a movie. And he admits they overthought this. They didn't see this as we should continue with what we did the first time and just kind of give more of that. They're like, well, let's turn her into a superhero. And they fucked up. And he's like, yeah, we fucked up. But he makes these movies so cheap that any little bit of money is a win for him. So he admits it sucked. They'll probably make a third one. They might course correct, go back to the horror version of things. I mean, even the first one wasn't even scary.
Right.
We saw most of the shit in the trailers. But he does these movies on the cheap and they always make money. So yeah, he admits they fucked up, which is, a lot of people won't come out and say that.
Well, to be honest, it's a good fuck up if you're going to make back your budget and then some.
Sure.
People didn't like the direction of it. So, and then another movie 28 years later made $104 million worldwide. Its opening weekend, its budget was $60 million. So it made its budget back. Mm-hmm. But another movie with poor reviews and poor word of mouth.
I honestly, I haven't seen much about it. Like no one's talking about it. And this was such a huge lead up because it was a return to a franchise that had been out of the lexicon for years, like 10, 15 years. The first two were fantastic movies. And then that was it, and then this came out and it kind of disappeared. I want to see it. Nothing's driving me to go see it other than the behind the scenes stories of they filmed it with, iPhones and they did all this stuff. Like it's like the making of it seemed a little more interesting than I think the story did.
Not having seen the first two, somebody I was talking to about this movie, and they're like, well, if you never saw the first two, I can't even tell you why I didn't like this one.
Yeah, probably.
And I went, okay, that's fair enough. But I valued their opinion on it, and they said it was not good. And Bartholomew in the chat said, I heard 28 years later was weird and bad. I've heard a combination of both of those. Not like it's awful, terrible, don't go see it, whatever. Right. Everybody was saying like, this is not what it should have been.
The direction they went was just odd.
Right. And then, so that's it for the box office. The Netflix news, I wanted to throw this out, and then Jordan could do the rest of it. Tire Season 3 got announced.
I couldn't believe it. Everything, like, I liked the first season. I still got to watch the second.
Second season is great.
Of all the things to get 3 seasons from Netflix, when we can't get 3 seasons of a show we enjoy, Tires. Mm-hmm. So they must make this show on no money.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, it's got a small budget, but the fact is that it circulates so well on social media because it's all comics. And then friends of the comics who are also big name comics are sharing. Like when you got Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura who are also tied with Netflix, talking about how great it is. And then, Shane Gillis is very big right now. Andrew Schultz is in it, very big right now. And they just had, this season, they had Ron White, who's a legendary comedian, massive following. Thomas Hayden Church is in there.
That's cool.
And all the comics are talking about it, putting it out online. So it goes through all the podcasts. So it's a vehicle that doesn't cost much, but it's getting a lot of notoriety and impressions.
Oh, I mean, good for him. I mean, it's nice. It is interesting to see like the controversy of him losing his job to SNL may have actually been the best thing for him.
Yeah, he's been back twice to host it.
He's hosted twice. He's been in a lot of things.
He's the spokesperson for Bud Light.
Right. In some of the best commercials I've seen. Like the one that keeps popping up for me is the one where he's like, you can't drink on camera, right?
Yeah, that shows up on is it YouTube ads or Twitch ads? One of them.
YouTube for me all the time.
Yeah, he's sitting there with Post Malone. And they're like, "Really?" Yeah. He's like 5, 4, 3, and then right as they're about to drink it, the commercial's over.
Ends. Hilarious. So yeah, good for him. So we're gonna go in. Mr. Beast tried to put out a YouTube AI tool.
Yes.
That helped with thumbnails, and I know that that's a big thing to do, especially like when we're trying to put shows together. But he got a ton of backlash, and it ends up removing the tool. He did. It's called The World's Most Subscribed YouTuber. Released the tool last week and said the intention had been to help smaller creators make better thumbnails. He admitted he had missed the mark after it was criticized by other high-profile YouTubers who said the tool steals creators' work. On a post on X, he said he decided to remove the tool from his YouTube analytics platform, View Stats, and would replace it with links to human artists available for commission.
Because what it was set to do is like, hey, you see this YouTuber or this streamer who's very popular. Let's look at their the artwork that they're using for their thumbnails. And he goes, this thing will just regenerate that, but with your face. And he showed examples. Somebody showed examples of this guy, Mr. Beast, has been trying to shut down, but he's in Russia, so you can't really do anything. So anything Mr. Beast was doing, there's almost the exact version, but this guy's face is in the thumbnails for his channel, and he's one of the biggest YouTubers over in Russia.
Right.
But it's 100%. You can look it up online, Mr. Beast, Russian YouTube. I forgot the other guy's name, but you look it around, and it's like almost exactly the same concept, same style, same everything. It's that guy's face, not Mr. Beast's face.
Well, it's like they all kind of regurgitate the same way. I mean, we, even to a point, have had to start modeling, because you've been told in the past, like, look, the only way people are going to really care about our videos or whatever, you have to do it this way. You got to make it dumb and make it look like, a reaction. Like, we've been leaning into some
like all the reaction people,
weird shit. And
all the reaction people always have this. Like that kind of shit there.
And then what's making Jordan make this face?
Yeah.
Talking about Hot Pockets.
So
it has nothing to do with the face.
The thing that worked for us is that it allowed us to take these, because we take these weird offshoot throwaway comments to use as the show title. But now we can base not just have the show title, but we can base the thumbnail on the nonsense, the one line out of nowhere kind of things to match up with this.
Right.
Look at this here. We talked about Gran Torino versus Gran Turismo, right? And then we also were talking last week about the AI version of Oregon Trail.
Right.
Right? This is the cover art for the episode from last week. Look at this.
Yeah. Snow tastes like hope.
Yeah, he's driving a sports car past the covered wagons in the snow. Like, it makes no sense unless you watch or listen to the episode, and then you kind of piece it together. But if you're looking randomly and you go, wait, is that Clint Eastwood? What is he doing?
Why is he driving in the snow near a covered wagon?
Yeah.
No, yeah, and that's why that's funny. But like most of them, they all have these weird reaction faces and things like that. So like, I mean, whether it's AI or not, whatever. We're going toward that anyway.
We just did a whole segment today for part 2, which will go up. But look at part 1 for the AI horror. I sit there and I put an abandoned McDonald's into AI.
I realized the AI one, it says McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's not even a D at the end. It's just like this weird.
AI can't spell.
I know. It's like you can't get
it's illiterate.
the lettering right.
Right. but it looks amazing. Like from a thumbnail, you can't tell that's not the D.
No, from a distance, you're like, oh, it says McDonald's.
And it
But then
looks
you're looking
creepy
at
enough. Like it fits exactly what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So if done correctly, the only thing you're stealing is from corporate entities, not individual artists. So,
Right.
Because that's okay, apparently, in a socialistic
you know what else
world.
is done correctly? Our fucking intuition. Last week we talked about how we wanted to change any reference to Diddy and P. Diddy and all this stuff. And
change
songs
Diddy to Fitty. Yeah.
and change it to Fitty. Not one day after we had invoked the name of 50 Cent does he get cast in the new Street Fighter movie as Balrog. So now 50 Cent, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson will be Balrog in the new Street Fighter movie. We had talked about Street Fighter. We talked about Fitty in the same episode. And somehow we willed it into existence that he will now be joining the Street Fighter movie with the likes of like Roman Reigns and who else was in it? There was a couple other people. Oh, Andrew Schultz randomly is going to be in this movie. So they announced Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. He's going to be Balrog. And then they weren't done. They cast David Dastmalchian, who played in the Suicide Squad. He played the Polka Dot Man. He's going to be.
Oh, yeah. That dork.
He's going to be M. Bison. The same role that Raul Julia did in the original movie.
I hope
the
it doesn't
Bad
end
in
the
all the
same
video
way.
games. He's going to be M. Bison in that movie. That is a weird casting to me. I think 50 Cent as Balrog makes perfect sense. Some of the other Andrew Schultz's character, I don't know the character enough in the Street Fighter enough to care. M. Bison is the weird one for me. So I'm not sure about that one. We'll see. But yeah, the Street Fighter cast grows weekly. Who else do we want to see in this movie? Because apparently that's who we're making it happen all the time. So
I don't care at this point. Whoever they're putting there, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
I want to see Fitty.
Fitty's been getting a lot of run shitting on Diddy.
Yeah.
On social media the last few weeks. And there was this one not too long ago where somebody posted a photo of Diddy riding a bike. Did you see this one?
No.
Okay, so there he is. He's riding a bike.
Okay.
He looks kind of fat, but he's riding a
A little
bike.
chunky, yeah.
50 Cent, and it's from his official account, says, "You know there ain't no seat on that bike, right?" He's been making nonstop gay remarks about.
Oh, so funny.
So when the verdict came out, was the verdict today or yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
Okay, when the verdict came out, he posted, "Congratulations on being whatever." He's the gay Teflon Don.
He's really just leaning into it.
He
I love
gives
it.
zero. No, he hates him so much.
Oh, so good.
So it's just been fun watching some of the shit 50 Cent's been posting about him.
Now, was 50 Cent the one that when he was having beef with another rapper?
Here it
that
is.
He bought like the first 5 rows of the concert.
Yep.
And never went. So like the first 5 rows of the venue was like empty to the whoever was performing.
Here's another thing.
Ja Rule.
Here is what he wrote. He goes, "Did he beat the feds? That boy a bad man!" Exclamation point. Bunch of clapping emojis.
Right.
Beat the Rico. He's the gay John Gotti. That's what he's.
The gay John Gotti.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta follow 50 Cent more.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He's fucking funny.
That's
So-
good. So yeah, he will be in the new Street Fighter. So that'll be fun. MTV is gonna go back to actually playing music videos 24/7.
Hold on. Here's another one.
Oh no.
He got a yearbook photo of Sean Combs,
Okay.
and he altered the caption. It says, "Sean Combs most likely to get caught with 784 dildos and gallons of lube."
Gives no fucks.
Nope.
Oh, I love it. So yeah, MTV is going back to playing music on a particular channel 24/7 leading up to the 2025 VMAs. Those air in September, so the network plans to air classic and current music videos 24/7 for a week on the channels MTV2, MTV Live, and MTV Classic. The special, described as a revival of the brand's early DNA for today's audiences, will also feature MTV personalities and precious VMA winners who will highlight their favorite music videos. So, I don't know, for a week, we're going to get music videos back into the limelight. And who cares, but whatever. Here's the big news, and I wanted to go into this. We'll go into it kind of quick because we're getting late.
Yeah.
Microsoft yesterday announced that they're laying off
Yeah.
9,100 employees, including shuttering an entire development studio. What was it called?
Here's what's interesting. So that's a lot of people to let go. They
Right.
said it's a 4% cut across all of Microsoft.
4%. Yeah, because it's hitting things like Azure, which is their cloud-based services,
Mhm.
Xbox. It's for 2025. Now we're in July 2025. 7 months in, they've already laid off 15,000 people just in 2025.
What are they? iHeart? Go ahead.
Apparently. So yeah, they're shuttering in entire divisions. Phil Spencer put out today, we're sharing decisions that will impact colleagues across our organization. He goes on to talk about how we want to make money. Thank you to everyone who shaped our culture, our products, and our community. We will move forward with deep appreciation and respect for all who have contributed to this journey. I can't believe they have done this since they have bought multiple things. Like they've got Rare. They have, they bought all these different things. They just announced a new handheld. They're partnering with Asus and all this stuff.
Yeah,
And
there's
then,
been some
2 weeks later, there's
been a bunch of articles as of late that say from Xbox insiders, different places, but they're all posting the similar information saying that Xbox is really looking to abandon hardware.
Well, and this thing is that they said, let's see, right now, Everwild, which is an IP that the Rare was working on, Perfect Dark got completely shelved and canceled, which was, I was looking forward to that one. And then other unannounced projects have been canceled. Microsoft's big layoff round has hit various divisions. But they're saying that the next-gen console hardware plans remain unaffected. The way I'm looking at it is that I think if we do get another hardware round with Microsoft, it will be the last. I think they're going to shift everything into being PC or even cloud-based. So you can buy things like controllers, but it'll all be built into TVs, other products, and allow you to stream it and not actually have to build a console. So then you can have these giant farms with their company Azure and do cloud-based gaming without actually owning anything. So they're going to license stuff out, but you'll never own a game again through Microsoft. It's all.
What was the other thing you said? Perfect Dark?
Perfect Dark.
Got scrapped. I didn't realize Candy Crush was still a thing.
Yeah, it was through
King Studios.
King Studios got hit hard.
They got hit hard. A lot of their
Take-10, who do the Forza series. Take-10, they do all the Forza Racing and the Forza Horizon. I think Horizon might be a division of Take-10, so they may be okay, but they lost probably about 40% of their company.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that they bought all this stuff. They've announced all these things, and then they've completely gutted most of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at this recap here. So once the deal with Activision Blizzard was done, they paid $69 billion for that company. Not this past January, but January 24, laid off 1,900 people. Made further cuts just a few months later when it closed Redfall developer Arcane Austin and Hi-Fi Rush whatever.
Hi-Fi Rush was good. Redfall sucked.
September of 24, Microsoft cut a further 650 staff from its entire gaming business. In May of this year, Microsoft cut an eye-watering 6,000 staff, or 3% of its entire workforce. Today's round of layoffs is the fourth to hit Microsoft gaming business in 18 months. This is maddening because now the gaming industry, not that they were far off from it, but the gaming industry is following in the steps of the entertainment industry and the media industry, where these things, you are lucky to get anything going in the gaming industry, television, radio, movies, all of that kind of stuff. All you're hearing about now is everyone's getting laid off from these things. It's like, how are they still making anything if it's not like one particular cut is going to be detrimental like crippling to a company.
Mm-hmm.
But like it said here, within the last, whatever, this is the fourth major cut they had in the last 18 months. That can be a problem. And they just keep cutting and keep cutting. And I know expenses and things are expensive and whatever, but you need people to do shit. And you see how, like, making a game, the credits for a game are almost like reading the credits for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So how are you going to make this stuff anymore? Everything, like all of this entertainment shit's going to fall apart. I'm having a hard enough time as it is in this business, dodging and weaving layoffs and all these other things that are going on. People just getting blown out for no reason. It's like, how long can we keep doing this? You know?
I don't know. Well, and it's like it's weird because we're always starved for entertainment, whether it be video games or movies. But what you're finding is that no one's supporting either one, but we want them.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because I think in the gaming universe, Sony has their issues and Microsoft has their issues. For some reason, they both struggle, even though they put out very good hardware. They put out all these things.
They put out exclusive games. Like people will pick sides for certain consoles just because of certain franchises.
But you know who does well every time, even though we criticize some of their choices? Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo. Because they lean into what they know how to do. They put their money and their time into projects that they support. They'll do the Marios. They got Donkey Kong coming out later this month. Everyone's raving about that.
Right.
They know what to do to get people to stay with them. They'll pay the prices. I mean, look at me. I already bought 2 fucking Switch 2s. And
fucking
they're
money
hard
bags.
to find. No, I'm just saying they're hard to find in stores. Like, we criticize the fact that they priced it so high and then that the games are going to be very expensive at $80 a pop for certain titles. That has not deterred anybody from trying to get this console and these games.
No,
they've done it. They know what they're doing somehow.
Woodpit
Microsoft is having issues.
Woodpit in the chat saying PlayStation laid off 8% recently, but it's Sony's a smaller company. Sony's a big company, but I guess not as big as Microsoft.
Their gaming division, I think, is smaller compared to Sony as a whole because they've got their different divisions. But yeah,
apparently the Perfect Dark trailer last year was bogus. Perfect Dark has been in development for like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know, which sucks because I really like the original. It's actually the anniversary of it coming up, and happy anniversary. They canceled the sequel. It's gone.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. All right. We'll end it with something fun.
Okay.
So Ryan Reynolds is going to be doing a Dragon's Lair movie. You remember Dragon's Lair, right? You ever play the video game?
That and Space Ace, the terrible video games that had to lean into the flashing yellow light in order to play the cartoon game, or you were screwed.
Yeah, I always got killed by the dragon. I would always be dead.
Yeah, it's one and done. Oh, I didn't hit the thing. Oh, you're dead. Oh, do I get another life?
$4.
Nope.
It was an expensive console.
One life, that's it.
Yep.
You know what might be interesting now that I'm thinking about it? I'm sure online they have playthroughs.
I'm sure.
I should go watch that.
To be honest with you, I've never seen that game completed.
Me neither. I never got past the first initial yellow flashing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible at it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in 2020, Ryan Reynolds was cast in Dragon's Lair, a live-action movie set up at Netflix based on the 1983 animated arcade game. That project hasn't had a lot of momentum in the last 5 years, but Dragon's Lair is circling a director and may be finally moving forward. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. James Bobbin is currently in talks to helm the new movie. Deal hasn't closed yet. He has actually directed the reboot of The Muppets in 2011, as well as the sequel, Muppets Most Wanted. He did Dora and the Lost City of Gold, episodes of Flight of the Conchords. Sounds like he's got a comedy background, so I think working with Ryan Reynolds may actually work well, and we may be seeing a Dragon's Lair movie within the next couple of years, so we'll see. So yeah, I like that game. I just can't believe it was 83. Now that I read that, I'm like, ugh. I was playing that in arcades. So yeah.
All right. That is it. I didn't see this come in earlier, so we got to do this now. Super chat came in $5 towards getting you one of those FNS shirts.
Well, let's do it. I'm going to do it.
If you buy the shirt, you have to wear it.
I will.
Okay, and then you got to yell their catchphrase at the end.
That's how we'll close out the show.
Yeah,
and then it'll be my last show. I'm on the show.
All right.
There'll be calls of getting me off of here, and that's how you get rid of another co-host.
All right. With that being said, it's time to end this bitch.
Yep.
And it means time for the plugs and the promos and all that fun stuff. And Jordan, of course, our nation's eyes turn to you.
You can find me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, at Jinx Ronan, Twitch, Jinx Ronan 79. I think this weekend, being a 3-day weekend, I might do some more gaming. I am going to get some Schedule 1 going, probably with Eric. But then, I might do some streaming. Might even bring some stuff to the channel here. So we'll see how that goes. If you've got an Amazon subscription, you want to use your free Twitch subscription to a channel, come see us at It's Eric Nagel over on Twitch. Use your subscription, subscribe for a month, help out the show. It costs you nothing extra, and we'd appreciate it.
All right. Why is it not switching over? There we go. Hello. For me and the show, it's Eric Nagel across the board and all the social medias. If you're listening on the iHeart Radio app, do us a kindness, put us in the #1 position for the preset. If you're on Apple and Spotify, you could go over there and do us a kindness, leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. You can join us live each and every week as we do this program in our live rooms on Twitch and on YouTube, all under It's Eric Nagel. And if you just want to watch the show, the clips, whatever you feel the need to check out involving this program at your own convenience, you can do so at our YouTube channel at It's Eric Nagel. All right. I think that's it, right? We've got everything done.
It.
All right.
We'll have more soon. We'll have a disaster show. We got all kinds of stuff brewing.
Okay. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend. Don't blow it. What were we going to call the show at one point?
Everyone's losing hands. Hands
are
many, missing.
Yeah, so many hands missing.
Look, as you're watching this show, count your fingers. Please have them by the time this next show shows up. Don't lose any fingers over the weekend. It's not worth it. Fireworks are stupid. Go watch a drone show.
Yeah, drones are so much better. Until the next time, everybody.
Be excellent.
Wait, hold on. Try it again. Until the next time, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
We'll be seeing you.
It's Eric Nagel.
It's turtle time, motherfuckers. On the half show.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Eric Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itsericnagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell 2 friends, so they can tell 2 friends, and they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.